Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to our another episode of the Cassini Project. We're short Sarah tonight, unfortunately, who's not feeling so great, but everyone else is ready to go, and we're getting ready to deal with some ongoing issues. Last time on the Cassini Project, Ted came on board the station, resolved many issues with Catheris, not all of them, and then Komarova decided to have ARIEL removed from the ship's core while they were unconscious. And we're picking up about 4 hours after that revelation. And
we also had the Grasses, who had a fantastic moment.
Yeah, the Grasses had a fantastic moment, but hardly relevant to tonight. So we're picking up about 4 hours after that revelation, and everyone, except for Lieutenant Theliksha, who is, because of the stress of the situation, not feeling so great, has, by Dr. Varask's orders, gone to lay down and spend the rest of the night in bed. And Lieutenant McAllister is filling in as tactical. All right, Captain and Admiral, you may begin with the briefing.
Oh, boy, great. It should be noted that at no point has the captain and the admiral ever made eye contact during this entire session. Well, they've been in the room. All right, so let's boil it down. What do we know? This is Ted talking right now.
McAllister speaks and goes, well, what we do know is that we were approached while we were doing our investigations and repairing the computer core that we were going to have ARIEL's AI core removed. We immediately came to you, yada yada.
Great. All right, so fill me in. What do you all know about this ARIEL?
When we woke up on Nimbus 3, she was offline. She shortly came online. She was also damaged, had her memory purged as well. And then from there, we began anew, pretty much.
We wouldn't have been able to repair the ship or got out of orbit without her.
So, and who is over at communications channels because he's doing repair work. Janus is going. She's been invaluable to the operation of the ship. We've been able to respond to situations with a higher degree of reaction time than we would have.
Okay. So I get that. But we gotta make a case here. Look, I'll be honest. Artificial intelligence don't exactly have the best track record within Starfleet, so you want to prove what's going on here? You gotta prove that she's a person, not just a bunch of computers, not just a simulacrum you can just pull up in a holo suite.
It's easier said than done.
If we can relate relate how a computer operates to how we operate in a spaceship, then maybe the ODN conduits may be equivalent to our corridors, and the computer systems are interacting with ship systems like we do. If we can find correlations and connections like that, that will at least give us a basis for arguing.
That's good for poetry, but
ARIEL has had ample opportunities to harm the crew and the ship, and she has not. In fact, she has been extremely helpful.
Well, part of the situation that's going to come down, says McAllister, is that based on this injunction, they're doing it on ethical grounds. if I was to make, if we were to look at previous cases, what would they say about an artificial intelligence serving on board a ship? Has there ever been a self-aware computer serving on a starship before? Not a program, not a separate being like Captain Data, an actual living, breathing entity that is the ship.
Well, aside from it happened to the Enterprise a couple times.
Gone too.
Have-
This is do I have to make a roll to remember about the other AI that was on the other ship? On the right.
On which ship?
Ever back at the
Rhea?
beginning of the campaign?
Ah, yes.
Yes.
So I'm not going to make you roll for that. The issue there was that wasn't really a Starfleet AI situation.
Oh.
This is going to be very specific to, based on the way that it's been worded, there are concerns about the ethical line of the rights of the artificial intelligence that is ARIEL and what the status of the ship is. And right now, the reason that they wanted to pull her out, that they explicitly give, is there were concerns about whether or not ARIEL being the ship meant, since the ship is owned by Starfleet, did that constitute then that was ARIEL an indentured servant? Was this some form of slavery? Or potentially on the reverse end of it, could ARIEL say, if she decides she no longer wanted to serve us, decide to vent you all out into space and start, shooting at planets? And even if they, for instance, removed all the weapon systems, you could just fly at warp and pull a holdo on a planet somewhere.
Unfortunately, they're valid concerns.
And this is sort of why we have to separate ARIEL from the ship. I don't think she is the ship. She lives in the ship like we do, but she's not the ship. She's a crew member.
Harrison's actually going to speak at this point and say, ARIEL has spoken several times that she does believe herself, the ship, to be her body, her extension of herself. Separating her from it could be very well extremely traumatic.
And Sahen speaks over the comms and goes, and I feel like that's a valid viewpoint. I mean, if you could make the argument that her core is just her brain, much like it is to us, and by extension, would we be lobotomizing her, like doing a brain in a jar thing if we removed her? What alternatives is Starfleet offering us?
Are they offering her the choice, or are they saying this needs to be done? Like, where does her autonomy come into this?
She's not being informed. We can't even wake her up.
So I think our first task here should be to give ARIEL the voice that she needs.
Okay, how do we do that without turning her on?
Well, if this were a medical case, you would be going to the family, the next of kin.
All right, so who would qualify as a next of kin in this situation?
I very slowly raise my hand.
Well, okay then. That's unexpected, says McAllister, sitting at the table.
Isn't it just?
Yeah.
So in this case, again, if it were a medical procedure, it would be up to Catheris to decide what would be in the best interest for ARIEL.
However, you're going to have to make the case, too, that she is in effect... Sorry, they are, in fact, next of kin.
That
Ariel,
raises more.
Yeah, go ahead.
That raises more questions about personhood.
There's
Ariel
also the
tried.
No,
Sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
So there's also the fact that ARIEL was not exactly an approved project.
Yeah.
Well, we do have one advantage in this case, is that cybernetic rights, as they have been defined in the past, are very well established by this point in time. Between Captain Data or sentient holograms like the Doctor, but there are still ethical issues taking place. For instance, there is an ongoing lawsuit between the Daystrom Institute and Starfleet about a sentient hologram known as Moriarty. This hologram took control of the Enterprise D away from the crew and nearly killed them twice. As such, he has been confined to a simulacrum of sorts to basically serve as his punishment, a jail sentence almost, to ensure that he is not let loose on the galaxy at large like he desires to protect others. But the Daystrom Institute points out that he never went through a trial, he never went through all the usual procedures we would do for another sentient being. However, you run into the issue of that hologram was also a immediate threat and danger to that crew. So we run into a similar situation here of how far are the rights allowed to go before it is considered a dangerous hologram. ARIEL's photonic core might run in parallel to those arguments, but at the same time, the arguments made by, for instance, Captain Data could be used to prove that she is deserving of those rights.
I would argue that she does have a right to choose. I mean, when we ran our relaxation thing on my Captain Proton program, she brought the same concerns up herself.
To which I have to now respond with, those rights to choose come with specific issues associated with them. A really good example of this is, did she have the right to choose to be in this ship? Did she have the right to choose to be a part of or reject this life?
Did any of us?
I can't answer that. I don't remember.
And more to the point, we can't ask her.
And this brings up the point. The difference between ARIEL and you is you have your own autonomy because of your bodies. You can walk away from this. ARIEL does not have that option, and it will probably come from that point of view that there is an ethical concern of, as long as she is in the ship, she does not have that choice.
But if we take her out of the ship without asking her, then she doesn't have a choice in that either. So no matter what they do, they're basically giving her no choice.
But
it's a moot point unless we can ask her what she wants to do in the first place.
And there may still be even further ethical implications. As we have discussed previously, even if she does have the choice, if she chooses to stay on board, what level of access can they actually give to the ship? Because the ship is still determined to be Starfleet property, as well established by the Acts of Cumberland. There's going to be, for instance, could she refuse a refit? These are legitimate questions that could go on, because bodily autonomy is an important thing for biological organisms, but an artificial intelligence will A, not think the same way that we do, and B, if there is a necessity that is required of Starfleet, ARIEL may not represent that.
we already know that ARIEL has some, not perhaps issues, but some discomfort with corporeality. Whenever she was needed to take on her holographic form, she didn't like it.
She may have to.
Well, we got one problem with that. Mobile emitter, which was custom built for her artificial intelligence program, was destroyed during our little accident at Rotor.
Can we make a new one?
Can we take a break, guys? I gotta make a quick chat. Thank you.
Okay.
No problem.
Back to it. All right. So where did we leave off?
Just that
mobile
the
emitter.
thing was destroyed at Radar 3.
Okay. So you guys were asking if you could build a new one.
Right, the
Pretty-
schematics ought to be in the ship's computer.
Well, and Sahan speaks up. There's an issue with that. First, we don't have the schematics for it. It was returned. The remnants of it were sent back to Utopia Planitia. It was made of a number of unreplicatable materials, and it was related to another project that's highly classified, and I don't even have access to it.
Ted coughs.
Well, Ted, if you want to try and get a hold of that, you're going to have to make that a roll.
I might have contacts. Let's see what's going on.
All right. I need you to make I guess this would be a reason command roll. Difficulty is going to be 4.
Oh, all right. Let's see. Do I have any applicable foci?
Yeah, I would say you do.
Okay. Switch my thing over. No momentum. Damn. All right.
Determination?
I mean, do I still have the 2?
No.
All right, that's fine.
Well, wait, the 2 from last time?
Yeah,
You do. You do have that 1 extra because you can bank that.
I do
What?
have 2, but I'm not sure I have any applicable values because I'm actually not trying to circumvent authority. I'm trying to use it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to use it to circumvent it.
Gomarova does outrank me.
Yeah, this is not going to fall under any of your values.
Yeah. And we don't have any mission objectives I could use.
Yeah, this is out of Ted's wheelhouse. So
Or, wait, ARIEL could be considered a new life form. Maybe a Federation directive that applies?
She's not exactly new, though.
and the Federation has already given their directive on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
It's-
is luck of the draw.
Well, in which case he would be challenging authority, wouldn't he?
But he's using his authority, so
Yeah.
that's
I mean,
I'm gonna just rule no.
Eh?
Nice attempt at
Unless you want-
lawyering, but no.
unless you want to take a threat, I think it's just going to be.
Nah, leave it as is.
So Ted, you think over and you're aware of the Theurgy project, but you don't know much about it or what they're doing over there, and it's constantly getting held up at a very high level issues. This is something that's going back and forth through the Federation Council behind closed doors, and so you don't have the kind of command level access. Anyone short of like Riker, Quinn, or Tanae. Even Komarova is like, I know a little, but not a lot.
I don't have that access anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's beyond me.
Could we just make a more standard issue?
But
Is there a possibility of taking a part of ARIEL and inserting her into one of the hollow suites already on Deep Space Nine?
So that you can't do. That would be very difficult, and even if that would have to be an extended task, and you would definitely get attention for doing that.
What about? Sorry, go ahead.
As for obtaining an outside mobile emitter, civilian grade units are at this point in time are very bulky. This is best seen in the STO mission, What Lies Beneath, where there is a hologram wearing basically a backpack-sized mobile emitter. This is how most of them are. Starfleet has been able to limitedly reproduce small ones, a little bulkier than the kind the Doctor uses, but they're about the size of like a closed fist. Some of these have leaked out into the private market. You know that, for instance, a couple of commercial programs use them.
If we want to get something like that, there is a man at Deep Space Nine who can help.
And if we can't, maybe we could at least set her up in the holodeck?
Well, the problem is to get her set up in the holodeck, you would have.
You're cutting out a lot. What?
I said for you to turn her on in the holodeck, you have to turn on her program. You basically have to turn on the core to do that.
If I remember correctly, Tanae was not necessarily against this. Like, Komarova went over her head. So would perhaps Tanae...
You went over my helmet?
The Romulans are going to pay for this. No, the issue is that Tanae preliminarily was going to go through with this, and then turned her after an investigation, and then rebuked it. Drake was going to remove her, was going to delete her.
Yeah, we also haven't mentioned that whole thing about.
Yeah, that hasn't come up yet. And then what Komarova has done since then is that she gathered a board of admirals together and went, look, here's the situation, here's why we should do it, and got them on her side, including Admirals Rikers and Quinn, who, basically you got the top dogs going, nope, we're doing this. So whatever she did to convince them was big.
We have to start looking at worst case scenario. If we can't keep them from taking Ariel out of the ship, then perhaps we could at least try to protect her when she's no longer on board.
There may also be the opportunities for compromises that we can make with them as well. If they're concerned about her access to things like weapon systems and propulsion, maybe we could... she did have AI constraints on her when she first woke up. They were damaged. Were potentially those put in place to prevent this kind of ethical dilemma?
I mean, it would be safe to assume.
Yes, but isn't that just akin to amputating someone because you're afraid they might shoot you with that arm?
Regardless, we can't understand what their motives are in sessions, and we get documentation from them. Right now, we just have an injunction and now a request for a hearing to counter this action.
And that's in 7 days, correct?
It will take 7 days for Admiral Komarova to come from Earth all the way up here to DS9. And you will have that time to be prepared for this, to discuss things with Reese, the JAG officer on DS9. Basically, you're being given a 7-day grace.
7 days to prepare a response, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's just put it down to brass tacks. Our options are possibly find a mobile emitter for Ariel, so she can have her voice. Possibly have someone served as next of kin, so to have power of attorney, essentially. Or let them go through with it.
There is another option, Captain.
Yes.
Someone on this crew violates the order and turns her back on.
McAllister.
You did not just say that with an admiral in the room.
McAllister just... Yeah, actually, no, can I get Ted to do a... This would be an insight security roll.
Okay. Alright, give me a second.
Yeah.
So what am I rolling to, what am I trying to find out?
Basically, you're rolling to see how Starfleet would react to this.
Alright, do I have any focuses that apply?
Yes.
Okay. 2.
Okay. So you're actually getting a momentum for this. This was not very hard. You know that if this happens, first, the hearing will be rendered null and void because you violated legal procedure. 2, whoever did that would be expelled from the service. And 3, they may just straight up decommission the Cassini right then and there, because they'll be like, well, now we have this AI on. Well, we're not going to remove her. We're just going to take off her nacelles and remove her weapon systems and probably tow her to Memory Alpha or somewhere where she can just live out her days. Essentially, be like, they basically would jump immediately to drastic measures because they no longer trust the crew or the ship.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea, but Starfleet would just literally flip their shit. I like the way you think, though.
The fact is, the best course of action for ARIEL would be to go through the procedures. We don't even know what their plans are. Let's put that one in the if this goes completely to hell pile.
Do I share a look with Theris when McAllister says we don't know what their plans are?
Sure.
There's just a slight nod, yeah.
Yeah, we don't know. Sure.
I mean, we know what they tried before even trying this injunction.
Mm-hmm.
And it's at this moment that, over the intercom, you hear, Deep Space Nine operations to Captain Harrison.
Captain Harrison here, go ahead.
Captain Harrison, I have a Admiral Prova. It's not on one of our channels. It's on a civilian channel.
I'll have to take him out of if you'll excuse me, please. And Harrison nods and leaves the room.
All right. And so we walk into your ready room, and a holographic image of Komarova actually comes up. She's using the HoloNet to call you.
Mother, I wasn't expecting a call.
Spare me, I'm sure you were expecting a call. I just heard about the request for a hearing. I'm not calling about that. Whatever we're going to discuss, you deserve at the very least to discuss it with me in person.
All right. What do I have the pleasure?
Not so much pleasure. Do an insight command check.
Sure.
The difficulty is going to be 2 because Komarova's pretty good at.
All right. I'm going to grab momentum.
Yeah,
Yep.
take that.
Because I have cautious.
All right.
I'm guessing no applicable foci?
You can give me an example of what foci you think be applicable here?
I'm probably going to suggest intelligence operative.
I'm actually going to say command presence apply.
All right. I always consider command presence more of an outward focus, but sure.
All right. Did that roll go through?
Not yet, but that may.
Sorry about that. All right, go ahead.
Okay. I said if you want, we're waiting for that roll.
Yeah. No, I got someone knocking on my door. Anyway.
Okay.
All right, let's roll. Shit, I'm ready rolling that one.
Okay, yes.
Get a crit.
Nice.
Yes!
Yeah, you got a crit.
Best
She
momentum
looks,
spend ever.
she looks pissed about something. And it's not... You've seen her angry before, like when she was trying to hide things. This is different. This is personal.
Something wrong?
Yeah, something's... I've been kind of holding out on you about something. When you woke up, I kind of filed because I wasn't sure if you were ready to handle something.
I'm sorry, Brian, you're cutting out a lot.
Oh, do you want me to jump back out and back in?
Yeah, please. Okay.
All right. So she goes, I've been holding back something. I've been holding out on you about something. She goes, I classified part of your record because I wasn't sure you were ready to handle it. But Logan, you were married. And
I just hold up my hand.
Okay.
The one with the wedding ring on it.
Which I'm sure you already kind of figured out. She died. Brain death. But she was kept on life support, her body. She was pregnant at the time, Logan.
Stone face.
So I held back, but I went to visit her before you came to ESD. And she just goes, "Doctor, just move." And she pans, the hollow imager pans over to your wife's body. And she is very visibly not pregnant. I hadn't seen her before that day, and she was already like this. And she just kind of like puts her hand up to her face, and you just see like really passive rage in her eyes.
What happened?
I don't know. Do an insight command check on that.
Is that a momentum? Okay. Folk I know?
Intelligence operations.
Okay.
Foci, yes.
Fuck. It's okay. You know what? The one is all that's necessary for the sense. I'm just gonna bank that as threat.
Well, actually, I'm thinking that Harrison's his stone face is actually cracking.
Okay, yeah, you know, we'll allow that.
Yeah.
Just this complex wealth of emotions breaks over his face, and just like it's breaking over hers, and she goes, and you realize she's fucking telling the truth. She doesn't know.
How do you not know?
What, do you think I'm God? I just know everything? In any case, my ship is getting ready to depart. I'd like to bring her body so that we can at least give her a proper service. Or whatever you decide to do. You're next of kin.
Thank you.
And you start seeing that, like, she starts crying a little bit. And Logan, about the other reason I'm coming, I'm sorry.
We'll discuss that later.
Indeed. Come roll that out, and the hologram shimmers and disappears.
Logan walks over to his desk, grabs one of the knickknacks that are on it, just kind of holds it, and smashes it against the Elcar screen over and over and over again until it's literally sparking.
With your genetically augmented strength, it does more than sparks. First run goes and embeds itself inside the thing.
Yeah, to the point where there's actually probably an emergency warning going out.
Yes. Warning, fire detected, and the emergency force fields come up to suppress it. It's just your send, Captain. What the hell's going on in your ready room?
My desk broke.
Okay, I will get on that.
Please. He takes a moment, collects himself. Deep breath. And he prepares to go back to the office, to the conference room.
Okay. So after he's composed himself, no longer looking like he's gonna start smashing up the place, Walks back in. Everyone's just been kind of like holding their breath, waiting to hear what Komarova had to say.
Just a personal message. It wasn't related to the inquiry. But I do look like Aetherius, like, ask me later.
Can I do a insight command check?
Sure.
Let's
And I would say you have no focuses that apply.
Yeah. Let's see how that goes. Nope.
Yeah, you can't. You can never read Logan's face. All you can tell is that there's some sort of emotion going on there, but you don't know what it is.
Humans, man, they're like, blanks.
He needs more wrinkles.
More
Yeah, there's no
expression.
texture.
Yeah, there's no nuance in the shadow.
All right, so Logan, you sit back down in your chair. And by the way, I'm imagining this like you're sitting still at the head of your table, and Ted is sitting at the other head of the table because he's an admiral.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The two are not making eye contact at all. And in fact, have not spoken to each other the entire time.
Because that would be a pain in the ass for you.
Yes, that's the reason. But
I
in
didn't say
character,
how.
yeah, but in character, they're definitely not talking. That's actually kind of noticeable.
All right. McAllister just goes, well, if Komarova isn't coming forward with something, I assume we're probably just going to have to wait until we get documentation for the hearing, I guess.
Does anyone know anything about this JAG officer?
I suppose that would be up to Ted.
Let's see what he knows. What do I roll?
This would be Reason Command.
Okay. No focuses. I don't know anything about Starfleet. Alright, let's do this.
All right, gain a momentum from that. And this information is actually available inside of Reese's character sheet on a page. Basically, he's born to a prominent military family on Andoria and has had a long career as a JAG officer. Been on DS9 for about 6-7 years now. Only holds the rank of lieutenant at the moment. On service, he looks like he's really internal as a Pharisee. He's sticking his nose into various crew issues, but he's discovered at least 7 violations of high-ranking Starfleet regs, including 3 prison sentences as a result of that. He also shows a very strong aptitude towards diplomacy, and his trial ethics are very, very solid. He tries to go out of his way to make sure everything not only matches procedure, but that everyone is treated in an ethical manner. He seems like he's going to be a very neutral judge. Well, not judge, because he's not the judge. He's the prosecutor, sort of.
Unbiased, at least. That's some...
He's a good man. Which I take with this crew could be a bit of an issue.
There's also an issue when we first left Nimbus and returned to Dock. ARIEL was attempted to be removed from the ship.
She wasn't attempted to be removed. She was attempted to be deleted.
Yeah.
Who the hell did that?
Franklin Drake.
Yeah, that's the name that makes you want to just choke someone.
Swear to God.
He got a punch across the face for his trouble.
Yeah, you punched him?
Nah. Not my pleasure.
It was the captain's prerogative.
But he seemed hell-bent on getting her gone.
And now that he has failed, Starfleet admirals are trying the same thing through other means. Admiral Ted, with respect to you, very few good Starfleet officers seem to make it to the Admiralty without ending up as cowards.
Holy shit.
I mean, he's not wrong.
I'm just imagining Ted gets a smile from that. Ted didn't like that.
Yeah. No, he's completely right. Most of them are jagoffs.
All right, so what's our plan then, I guess?
Well, putting it out there, I would like to see if we could try and secure one of these aftermarket movable emitters.
Well, there's only one person on DS9 who could get you one of those.
Yes. And also with everyone else to try to formulate a response. Obviously, we're going to need to get more material, but we should be getting that before the inquiry.
Yeah, you will be getting that before the inquiry.
Yeah.
Perhaps if we could see if we could get some evidence for kinship. I have no idea how we'd do that, but...
Well, you did get that. You got that last episode.
No, the problem isn't... ARIEL is being seen as a person. The problem is that the person is in charge of Federation intelligence vessel.
Yeah, and that's the key point that needs to be made here, is that it's not a matter that ARIEL isn't a person, it's a matter that this person is in possession of military-grade technology as part of their body.
Yeah.
But any person should have the right to face their accuser, and as long as ARIEL is deactivated, she is not being given that right.
It's a valid point. We could probably bring that up in the hearing.
Oh, will we?
I mean, perhaps it might simply come down to giving her a rank?
That would mean limiting her in some aspects.
Would it?
Yes, actually it would. Because if she would not be probably allowed to maintain a higher rank than the captain, which means she would have to have there would have to be override commands for, at the very least, Harrison to have over ARIEL.
It's still an option.
It is, but it doesn't change the fact that essentially her body is essentially a weapon, or can be used easily as one.
So can mine, so can yours, so can Graz's. Hell, so can Kagon's on a good day.
Yes, but we can't throw ourselves at a planet and completely destroy it.
Well, I mean, I suppose Kagon might if he sufficiently screws up. But this is getting off topic. The fact is that this is going to have to be something that they answer, not us. The other thing that might be useful is if we know any specialists who know about AI law, like, for instance, that ongoing Moriarty case, they might be of some use to us.
I can make some calls.
Really?
Yeah. Ted does not volunteer any more information than that.
The Klingons have a saying, do not look a gift general in the mouth.
The Klingons have the same problem with generals that we have with admirals. Which is
Man,
always curious.
I think they just kill them if they get that way.
We do.
Yeah. Things simpler.
Join the wrong service. All right, so it seems like we're coming to a couple of plans here. Ted is obviously going to be making a phone call.
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to go talk to Quark? Not tonight, because it's like 100 hours on the ship's clock now.
I'm thinking Kagon and Catheris would be good for that, because we both have a stash of Latin.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you guys
All
have the money for it.
All right, so we'll have Kagon and Catheris go swindle Quark at some point.
Attempt to, anyway.
Attempt to, yes. And then, before we go on to that scene, is there anything any personal scenes people want to do, any kind of scenes people want to have over the course of next week they want to do ahead of this?
Uh,
I definitely want to speak to Catheris at some point.
yeah, same. I mean, I would like to speak to Logan, and also
Yes.
I would like to speak with Kagon at some.
Okay.
And I'd actually like to talk with Dr. Farask.
Okay.
Actually, you could probably be there.
Okay, so
Dr. Farask is in the know, so.
we will have. So I think we're going to start with just to get it out of the way. Ted, you attempt to contact your contact. I know who you're referring to.
Yeah.
You do not get a live response, so you end up having to leave like a voice message, and maybe they'll get back to you tomorrow or something.
That's fair.
And we're gonna switch over to the scene in the Red Room between Catheris, Harrison, and Vrask.
Yeah, you walk in and you just see like the coffee thermos just shoved halfway into the desk.
And one really pissed off engineer.
Varas is gonna look at the desk and the coffee mug, and then he is going to side-eye the captain.
Ensign, if you could give us the room, referring to the engineer.
Yes, sir. And he just kind of walks out. He makes sure to go around the captain at the longest way possible.
I'll actually go over and make sure the room is secure.
Yeah, there's most of the computer systems are still not online. Like,
Yeah,
the computer core is still being reconstructed.
that's fair. So I had a conversation with my mother today.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they would ask you, how did that make you feel?
Harrison gestures over to the desk.
Did you use your foot or did you use your hand?
Hand.
All right. How's your hand?
Harrison holds it up.
It's fine, because you were throwing things.
Well, actually, I was grabbing it and slamming it down repeatedly over and over.
Okay, so it's got a few cuts and bruises, but it's nothing that, like... It's good. You're fine.
The doctor just squints. Okay.
Komarova's bringing Linda to Deep Space Nine.
Jesus, so yeah, okay.
For final service. And she showed me Linda. Linda was not visibly pregnant. She says she has no idea what happened, and I believe her.
Okay.
So.
I have a son out there, and I don't know where he is. I don't know what's happened to him. And apparently neither does one of the leading cells of Section 31.
Does Vrask know about the whole Section 31 thing?
I mean, we've been keeping him in the know.
Yeah, he knows.
Yeah.
Okay, he's the only one on the crew who knows. And
He has to know, because he knows about the secret thing about Harrison.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay, I wasn't sure.
He's also the perfect one to know because he's not going to blow up and overreact and throw things like his fist through a console.
Shade.
I'm a doctor. Shade is my specialty when it comes to my people hurting themselves.
He has a focus in shade.
So there was a procedure done without your mother's approval, or anyone being notified of the fact that your son was brought into this world?
I don't know. I'd like for you to check her medical records and possibly do an autopsy when she arrives.
I will do everything in my power to figure it out, Captain.
Thank you. As
Of
well
course.
as, and then we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. It's just,
At this moment, you're suddenly reminded that, oh wait, I remember now how to get into that trunk. Thinking about your wife this much has brought that memory to their forefront.
yeah. On the plus side, it just means I remember how to get into my locker.
Mm-hmm.
I said out loud.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. There is another concern that we should. Ted's gonna want to know how the hell I knew about that.
We found the chip during a level 5 diagnostic performed on the photonic core as part of the standard diagnostics that is done when we return into Starbase Sierra.
So I point him in your direction.
I chose not to inform you at the time so as not to cause any undue emotional distress. I made an executive decision. And Harrison rattles it off way too fast.
That genetically enhanced brain working into overdrive, coming up with an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
A level 5 diagnostic would have been performed, and that could have come up easily. Because that's when you go down and check every single chip.
You did perform one. One had to be performed when you came there.
Yes.
Well, just the same, I'd rather he hear it from you than from me.
He doesn't want to talk to me at all.
You think he wants to talk to me?
He was talking to you. You noticed during the entire meeting, he didn't say a single word to me.
There was also no violence, which was surprising. Or yelling.
That was out of character.
To be fair, I think we all realize that this is bigger than us.
It is. We're in danger of losing one of our own.
I can't help but feel like there isn't ulterior motives here behind this.
Oh, there's ulterior motives behind this, for sure.
Given our track record and what's happened to the Cassini, there's bound to be ulterior motives.
Especially considering what ARIEL was designed for.
What was she designed for? I don't know!
Well, it's time to tell Catheris.
Yes, it is.
Is this a conversation that needs to happen in private, or do you need a medical physician involved?
I mean, if you'd like to go doctor, that's fine. It's not best to keep you in the loop.
If you'd like to keep me in the loop, I can stay. If it's something personal, I don't mind leaving.
It would be nice to have a neutral third party during all of this. Too much cloak and dagger, and you start to get a little paranoid.
Right. Paranoid. Okay.
Is your replicator still working at least?
The replicators are offline.
God!
That's why he had the coffee thermos.
Nope.
Alright, I take a seat.
So I explained what ARIEL was, and if the GM could do that for me.
Alright, so basically, ARIEL was created, at least as far as you know, to be an onboard intelligence computing system. She was specifically designed to analyze the information that you recovered, basically on any mission in service, ostensibly, as far as you know, to Section 31 or Starfleet Intelligence. There is some ambiguity. You were left out of the loop. You do know that this was a highly classified project, and no one in the Admiralty Besides, you're pretty sure Komarova knew, but everyone else was out of the loop.
She's trying to cover her own ass.
Potentially.
Possibly, yes. Also, there's the fact that, out of character, is it widely known that, wait, does Varask know that Komarova is Section 31?
He does now.
He does
He
now.
does now.
Okay, processing information. Well, if she's not trying to cover her posterior, then it's possible that she's at least trying to make it so that if this was her project to be put on this ship, then in essence, this ship was intended to be a flagship of sorts for Section 31. And now she's trying to take that away so that I couldn't fathom why.
If she's not going... We have to assume at this point that Drake was acting under her orders in the beginning to destroy Ariel.
Right.
Which means that now that's no longer an option. It's possible she may be trying to retrieve Ariel to put her back towards her intended purpose.
Give her to someone new.
I don't like that.
And if that doesn't work, if Ariel's uncooperative, then she'll probably destroy her.
That or attempt to reprogram her.
Like hell.
I said attempt. She might not succeed. Ariel has shown to be very...
Independent.
Independent.
Yes,
Yeah.
that.
And if it isn't about covering up what she did, maybe she thinks that somehow she can retrieve data that's been lost.
Such as the damaged damaging engrams that were part of a memory. The decryption
Yeah.
that we still haven't made much progress on.
Yeah, that.
It just stinks of espionage.
Why would a spy smell like espionage, Logan?
How are you feeling, Captain?
Like I want to break something. Furious doesn't begin to describe it. Violated is getting close. I'm a father without a son. That just... Where do you go from that?
Do you need to take a break?
Maybe, but there's not much time.
There's a bit of time.
Time is something that you possessed.
Yeah, no,
I
I don't
was-
want to.
As the medical doctor on the ship, I would suggest you take a few hours to unwind and de-stress. You're going to have a lot to handle in the next few days.
All right. Let's see what I can do.
And do me a favor. I'm asking the rest of the staff to don't correct Ted's pronoun usage, okay?
All right.
Why?
He already thinks I killed her once, so I'm not doing it again.
God. All right.
Okay, so I'm assuming you guys are retiring. Harrison, is there anything you want to do before the end of the night?
He's opening up that locker.
Yep, I kind of figured as much. So move into your quarters. And you walk over to the locker. Not going to make you roll for it. And you open it. And I don't know what you hyped yourself up to believe is in there, but it's mostly personal belongings. Clothes, little knickknacks and stuff. But what really gets to you is that there is actually a picture of you and Linda, which you can now view under letters and notes.
Oh, damn it. Oh, Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Where was this taken?
It was taken, according to the metadata, it was taken. There was a diplomatic rendezvous at New Romulus right before Operation Delta Rising that you two, basically, your two ships were going in two different directions and just happened to be crossing paths there. This would be roughly around the time that she got pregnant.
Harrison's just going to stare at the photo for a long time. We're just kind of just tossing back on the bed and just kind of staring up at the ceiling until someone bothers him.
All right, Commander Catheris, anything you want to do tonight, or you're just doing the usual thing?
Just gonna head off to bed.
Okay. Vrask, anything for you?
Probably something mundane. He needs to go over something. He needs to study something or treat a patient or something before he feels like justified in laying down to sleep.
All right, so Vrask goes off to the DS9 infirmary and picks up a couple of hours to helping scrapes and bruises and so forth on the station. And before we move on to the next day, Ted, you're going to get a response from your message in your quarters.
Okay.
And there's going to be a letter coming right your way right now. And Baz, I'm going to make it available for you to put on screen if you want. If you would like to read it out loud, Adcon, you're welcome to.
Ted, your message was relayed to me. Sorry we couldn't have a live conversation. And even more sorry to say I cannot join you on DS9 to help with the defense of this AI. You know how much the idea of a shipboard AI is life stream for me. Unfortunately, I'm involved in a project that requires my constant supervision. I can recommend a colleague from the Daystrom Institute, Dr. Bruce Maddox. He's a long-time AI researcher. Started out as someone who opposed Captain Data's entry into Starfleet into one of his greatest defenders, one of our best AI rights activists. I doubt Captain Data can afford to do anything more than send a recorded message right now, with his research on androids constantly in motion. The only thing I've heard him leaving Earth for was a meeting with Empress Sella after she was returned to custody. I love you, and I wish things could be different. Zach. P.S. They recovered the wreckage of the Amazon. Hassan's family decided they wanted the funeral to be in private, but they forwarded her hall of recording for us. Also, some of her blood to spill in the hall or something or another. I don't get Andorian traditions. It's in the research fridge at home.
And then there's the attached holo program.
Yeah. Hassan is there with memorial to Ted and Zach.
All right. So what's the gonna view that, or are you gonna put that aside and we'll move on to the next day?
Oh, I put that aside and move on to the next day.
Okay. So we're gonna start with we're gonna have 1 second here while I get this set up. We're gonna move over to Catheris and Kagon in Quark's before Quark shows up, I might add, because it's now 24 hours as the official embassy for Ferenginar. They've shown up early in the morning before he's coming out to serve as bartender.
Do you have a plan? How are we doing this? Are we doing good cop, bad cop, worst cop? How are we doing this?
I intend to let Quark know exactly how I feel, which may constitute bad cop under the circumstances. Keegan looks a little bit bruised up, by the way.
Kitharis definitely raises an eyebrow.
Holodeck. I needed to stab something last night after that conference.
I'm sorry I didn't answer an invitation.
Indeed. Your physical prowess in combat is impressive. I could learn from you if you would allow it.
Anytime, honestly. I mean,
All right. And as you guys are wrapping that up, Quark walks in the door and gets right behind the counter.
Quark!
Lieutenant Commander, what can I get you?
A hollow emitter.
A hollow emitter? You're talking ship's grade, or are you just looking for time in the hollow suite?
no, I think you're not hearing him. He's asking for something a little more portable.
A mobile emitter? Well, I can get you... And he lists off a couple of models. Theris, can I get you to do an insight engineering check on that?
Sure.
Difficulty, let's go with 2 on this one. I don't think you have a focus in photonics.
I do. I have a focus on advanced holograms.
All right. Then yes, you do actually have a focus in this.
My engineering's only 2, or I'd offer to assist.
Insight engineering, you said?
Insight engineering.
Grab a momentum if you want it.
What was the difficulty again?
2.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab a momentum if that's cool.
That's totally cool. You got pretty good on. Yeah, you get that momentum back. You know that all the models you just said are the really bulky kind and won't be compatible with ARIEL systems.
Quark, my friend.
All right, what is it you really want?
I need something
Have we
a
been
little
stuttering?
bit. I just gently put a hand on Kagon's upper. I need something newer, a little bit sleeker.
Oh, I see what you're going for. Well, it's going to be a little trickier. How soon do you need it?
Soon.
How soon?
2 days? 3 days?
Quark immediately goes, 2 to 3 days. Look, I can appreciate you might have need, but that would be quite a challenge to acquire in that amount
How
of time.
much, Quark?
It's not a matter of how much, it's a matter of practicality. High-grade mobile emitters. Just the one I've got for our lead-up program. It took me forever to get a hold of.
How much latinum will it take to override the practicality?
Unless that platinum comes with a time machine, I don't think it's going to. I
put
could get it to you in 2 weeks.
I put a bag on the table that just has a bunch of
How much is in there? Is that your whole stash?
I'll start with 50 strips.
He goes, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do. Although, nice opening offer.
I look to Kagon.
How much was in our stash in terms of, like, are we talking strips, bars?
I think
You had... go ahead, Steph.
I think it was 200... Was it... I don't remember if it was bars or strips.
It was bars.
Yeah, 200 bars each.
No, it was 200 bars total that you split.
Oh, I thought... Okay, so we each have 100 bars.
Mm-hmm.
100 bars, Quark.
Quark raises his eyebrows and goes, 100 bars. And so he goes, I'll tell you what. Come back when you absolutely need it. I'm cutting into my profits here. I'm just going to scare. I'll let you use Hololitas. I guess
That's very kind of you, Quark.
you're paying me, aren't you? Don't think of it anything more than a businessman taking a transaction he needs to accomplish.
Kagan just looks at Catheris.
All right. What happens if we need it for more than a day?
Oh. Let's just say I may need a few more bars of latinum. Just to cover my losses, of course.
Of
Of
course.
course. A pleasure, as always.
Have a nice day, and nice doing business with you.
I very noticeably start taking my bag back from this bar top.
He sees it and goes, what's this?
Well, you took Kagon's offer, not mine.
You didn't ask for a down payment.
And Gork goes, fine, but I want to be paid the moment you come to claim the equipment.
Done.
Absolutely.
All right. And with that, we're going to change scenes. Captain Harrison, you have been called down to the security office by Chief Rowe.
All right, yeah, make my way down there.
All right, so Rosanna and Lieutenant Reese are waiting for you.
So, what's Rose rank currently?
She is the acting. So Rosanna's rank isn't quite so. She's just treated as the constable on the station. She's because her mother is chief of security, so I guess she's like assistant chief. Little nepotism going on there.
Okay.
It's Major.
It's Pagor.
Okay, but not like she's not like corporal or anything like that, or
No. I think she actually burst the rank of major. So
okay. Major, and he must be Lieutenant Reese.
Captain, thank you for agreeing to see us. I know this is an awkward situation for you.
Yes, that's putting it delicately.
Please sit down. He directs you to one of the chairs. Ro takes her seat behind the console, and he stands next to her.
Yep, Harrison takes the seat.
So, and he starts listing off the legal jargon about basically what you were going to do with the whole. If I recited it, we'd be here for 15 minutes. And he goes, So basically, you're looking to keep this artificial intelligence on board your ship, and you're questioning the ethical dilemmas in place.
Yes.
All right. I have had a meeting with Admiral Komarova. They have deferred that I will be the one running this investigation on the grounds that, well, they feel that they are compromised in the situation going up against you. And, well, basically, here is the logic that Starfleet is going to be basing their case in the hearing. Basically, they're viewing that in unrestrained artificial intelligence on board a starship poses a potential security risk. It also brings up the ethical issues of choice with regards to such artificial intelligence. Specifically, what if this artificial intelligence decides to rebel or wants to retire? What are we going to do with it? We can't necessarily mean that the retirement of the artificial intelligence means retirement of the ship. There are numerous ethical issues that we believe that are complicated, and we're looking for a satisfactory conclusion. Starfleet's plans, as had been planned by the initial injunction, was to transfer her to Memory Alpha to begin construction of a new, I guess the best term would be maybe a shell or construct for her to reside in that would have interface capabilities, but would be its own independent entity and could be disconnected from Federation property at their discretion.
And the decision to keep ARIEL offline for the process of this inquiry was made by whom?
It was made by Admiral Komarova based on actually previous discussions you had with Admiral Tanay, where you described the ship as being part of ARIEL's body. There was concerns that bringing her online and then removing her might be more traumatic than her having suffered the trauma of the damage caused to the Cassini and then removing her as if it was part of routine repair operations.
Perhaps, but that does ensure that she is not able to express her opinion and voice during this inquiry. That very much concerns her.
I can understand that. You're going to have to bring that up before the Admiral, who will be presiding over this hearing.
I will be.
Of which the Admiral in question will in fact be Tanay.
All right. That's supposed to be too much to ask what your take is on this currently.
Ro and Reese just kind of look at each other and goes, on the record, yes. And he reaches up for his badge and he tosses it on the desk, and then Ro does the same. And they're waiting. Yeah.
I'll take my badge and put it on the desk.
Personally, Captain, I don't know how to feel about this. On the one hand, I am completely sympathetic with you. This life form has been a member of your crew. They, like all artificial intelligences in the Federation, are deserving of certain rights. On the other hand, I can also understand Admiral Komarova's view. The difference between a ship and the artificial intelligence who runs it is something that has not been legally defined. And previous hearings on this and legal precedent are not in your favor. The Acts of Cumberland in particular are very specific about the rights of ownership of artificial intelligence, but those have obviously been thrown into question, specifically with the case of Dr. Maddox v. Data. But these are basically, there is no easy solution to this. I don't think either side is going to 100% get what they want in best case scenario.
I'd have to agree with that.
Ro just sits and goes, well, Captain, if I were you, I'd start thinking of some compromises you'd be willing to make.
Yes. Limiting Ariel's power may have to be compromise number one.
Both of them nod in agreement. It's the most likely outcome in the condition that she is not removed from the ship. There is still a very strong chance that they may still opt to remove her on the grounds that they may not feel that there is sufficient evidence to support that they could properly constrain her inside the shell, or possibly even whatever kind of psychological damage could emerge from reconnecting her to the ship and then disconnecting her again.
If she must be removed to the ship, it would be preferable that she goes someplace where she would want to go, rather than just whatever's decided for her, such as Daystrom Institute. It might be within the best interest for her to remain at least within contact with the crew of the Cassini.
I'll add that into the requests. Please feel free to reiterate this during the hearing.
Absolutely.
And
We are, in a sense, the only family she knows right now.
That is a logical conclusion.
Just to quote an admiral I've met recently, this sucks.
Reese kind of chuckles at that. I know which admiral you're talking about. This does indeed suck. I can tell you that what Starfleet's intention had been was to basically, they were going to build her a new body of sorts at Memory Alpha.
I understand. Hopefully one to her specifications.
That was definitely going to be something on their mind. She was going to interface with the central computer database at Memory Prime, and would be used. They would basically be able to communicate that way.
I could see where they might come to that conclusion. No, I'm not thrilled about this. I'm thrilled about a member of my crew being attacked because of what she is.
I can understand that, Captain, and I respect that.
Well, it's all the same. I do believe I believe I probably have an opening statement to write.
I would get on that. Today is very specific when it comes to those who come before her for cases like this.
Good to know. Harrison reached for his comm badge.
They reach for theirs as well.
Will you be staying on board Deep Space Nine, Lieutenant?
I will. If you would like me to come on board the Cassini for consultation or just to take a look at some of ARIEL's hardware, I will be happy to do that in whatever manner you feel is appropriate.
Perhaps at a later date, certainly, once the inquiry is underway. That way it'll be a part of the official record.
Understood.
Major, it was nice meeting you.
It's nice meeting you as well, Captain. And good luck.
Thank you. I have some work to do. And Harrison will leave.
Okay. And we're going to cut forward to Catheris has joined Lieutenant Graz and Sahen in the computer core, trying to do reconstruction things.
I feel like we've been at this for hours.
We have been at it for hours.
Still haven't worked out how any of this stuff works, though.
It's not a matter of how it all works. That's the easy part. It's a matter of doing it without turning her on. It's what's holding this up. You can't tell if these connections are actually functional or not without some response.
Can we do some sort of dead-end check?
I've done 2 already. The fact is that I just can't tell if it's not coming from the photonic core. I mean, an isolinear or bioneural gel pack system is going to give a different feedback.
Have you ever had a problem like this before, Sahen? Not having to turn on something in order to do something with?
To a degree, if you're doing something like the warp core, you can't exactly risk turning it on unless you're absolutely sure it's working. But it's not like a computer core. This is like trying to tell if you've properly patched a pipe, but not being able to throw water through it to see where the leaks are.
Can we try some other system?
I've tried almost everything. I've run it through the holodecks. I've run it through the bioneural gel packs. I've tried using a simulacrum of ARIEL systems. It's just not giving me the same kind of responses.
Can we do some sort of, I don't know, low-end have her in some sort of offline mode that isn't quite on, but is still powered?
Well, that might be possible. We'd be kind of skirting our orders a little. Let's brainstorm about this. Commander Catheris, I'm going to have you take the lead on this, since it's your idea.
Okay.
This is going to be a reason engineering with your focus in advanced holograms. And you will be assisted by Zahan. Graz, do you want to assist in this by any chance?
I'm gonna try.
It would be it's either going to be reason engineering or reason science for you. If you can justify it, maybe reason con, if you can use it as an analogy.
If we can... Just I suppose, applying my knowledge of the energy routing through the ship to... I don't know. My engineering's 2, my science is 1, so...
Gonna be hard either way.
Yeah, I gotta try it anyway.
Okay.
So what was it? What was the attribute?
It's reason for everyone, and either engineering or science, depending on the person's preferences.
So that's a target of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Come on, Katherish, you gotta make the first roll.
I'm gonna use a value to do this.
That's totally cool.
I'm gonna use reckless but caring.
Yeah, this is reckless but definitely caring.
Okay, and what's the total difficulty we're aiming for?
So the difficulty here is a bit soft. It's going to depend on how many successes you get, how well this is going to be accomplished.
Okay.
So you might want to use the 1 momentum.
That's 4 successes.
That's 5 successes.
Graz might as well roll. Oh.
It's okay, Graz. You didn't complicate things. All right, so I'm going to say that you're going to gain 2 bonus momentum from that. This is totally doable. What you would have to do is you would have to initialize some of her base core sequences, basically load up her BIOS without turning on the operating system.
So in a coma, kind of.
Kind of. She would essentially be... I mean, it's...
Tough.
Yeah. Your basic... Yeah, you're doing just a BIOS startup. She won't be conscious. You'll have to bypass all of those circuits. You're going to have... Yeah, you're basically just seeing to see if she is interfacing with the ship.
Well, if we do this, it's basically just, in a sense, a routine.
So he goes, I'm going to make sure that like she doesn't come online. I'll make it so that we can disconnect these circuits immediately afterwards. I just need to see if she's working.
You and me both. I mean, if she's in there at all. If she's not in there, there's no point in fighting this.
Agreed. And he is now going to make a roll for this. Would either of you like to assist in this?
Yes!
All right, so this is going to be a control engineering, control science, and guys, I will allow you, if you want to assist, use your control con, because this is all about fine hand motions. You're basically getting orders from Sahen and Catheris through this.
Okay.
Is the Cassini also No, the Cassini
Nope.
doesn't.
You can't assist it. The Cassini can't assist in this.
Okay, so there
And,
is no focus for me on this
All right,
one.
yeah. No. Sahen has taken the first leap on this.
Raz is following soon after.
That's 3. Come on, Catheris.
I rolled
Sarah's
a
got
2.
2.
Oh, 2. All right. So that's 5. You massively succeeded this. You banked 2 additional momentum. Basically, yes, she is online, she is functional, and you're able to disconnect the systems with ease without ever touching any of her higher processes.
That's at least somewhat of a relief.
Do you think that if we manage to get this hollow emitter, we can transfer her functions and not get yelled at?
It's possible. I would have to create an interface because her holographic emitter that she had was very custom built. I would have to basically build a custom interface. Unlike the other one, she wouldn't be able to download her entire program. I would have to make it just basically her personality subroutines.
Honestly, that's all we need right now. We need her. We need as close a facsimile of her as we can get. Just so that she can at least have her voice heard. That's all I want.
I hope it works. It's going to take me some time.
We might also have to clear this, at least with the Jag. If they think we're turning her on, then
Yeah, we should do this without going behind everyone's back. The more transparent we are with this, the better.
This is an absolutely true statement.
I guess I should make an appointment with someone.
Well, you know your captain was having a meeting with Reese today.
Well, I'll see if Harrison's mentioned it, and if not, then maybe I'll drop by and say this is something that we've come up with on our side of.
All right. Well, I'm going to skip over that scene. It's pretty simple. Harrison will basically say, well, I mentioned that this was a potential thing that came up, and he told me, well, get clearance from the judge before doing it.
All right. So, do I need to go to Reese to say, hey, this is a thing we're considering?
No, that will end up being Harrison's job. And
Okay.
Harrison has already said that to him, so.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to double check.
Right, and the whole reason I'm kind of skipping over this is that we have only one scene left tonight. Adcon, are you there?
Oh, he's here. Don't worry.
Good, because it's time for that other scene.
Okay.
So we've got pretty much everything prepared for next week. Is Ted going to view that holo program?
Yeah, in his privacy of his own quarters.
It's a full holographic interface.
Is the Cavalier still dock?
The Cavender's still docked. It's waiting for its captain to say, let's shove off.
Then,
and he's waiting on the Admiral.
He'll do it in a holo suite.
All right. So, yep, you get on to the hall suite. And
This is not the scene I thought you were talking about. I thought you were talking about something else.
no, we will be having that scene probably maybe after this.
Okay.
And you're going to activate the program?
Yes.
And suddenly the Lasanne's ready room appears, followed by Lasanne herself.
Oh no, it's a ghost.
Steph, you would.
Okay. I'm gonna try not to cry.
Oh Jesus. Oh no. Oh no.
The worst possible thing has happened.
So Lasanne at the moment is standing, and she's got her arms kind of folded in front of her, and she's smiling. Hello, Ted. Hello, Mizaka. I hope this message finds you well, safe, and in some semblance of peace. I've been recording all these all day, and, well, there's just the two of you. I'd make a joke about saving the best for last. It's an empty platitude neither of you need, and let's be honest, neither one of you are the best. I love you, but I honestly knew that this would be the hardest one. I watched the two of you grow, move around each other, fight with each other, fight for each other, and become something wonderful. These past months have been hard on both of you, and I hated the thought of adding to the pain. Please know that I fought valiantly in a way that I thought and hope both of you would be proud of. And if I had my way, I did it while listening to Anton Dvorak on high volume from my bridge chair. I've sent out samples of my blood to all of the former senior staff, as well as surviving family. If either of you are in the neighborhood of Andoria, it's an old custom, but please pay a visit to the Wall of Heroes and make sure that my planet remembers me. You both should know that the Amazon is a wondrous ship with so much personality. Every day I wake up and I'm honored by the fact that you placed her in my hands. I did my best to captain her. I just wish that you would have told me about the dragging on the starboard side before I took command. It made my pilot's attempt to use a planet for geometric inertia a bit unexpected. We did an Alarian roll when we tried to slingshot around a planet. It helped with the evasive action, but it was a surprise. Then again, you know that most people don't see the universe the way that I do, or use it the way that I do. There's a break, and she's sitting now. Ted, if you've still got her on board, take care of Nesha. She's a hell of a strong woman. She's got Anosha's temper. She won't take this well. Give her time, and as many engines as you can. Break something on purpose if you have to get her to fix it. I want you to know that I learned a lot from you. That you were the first captain, the only captain I served under, that I consider a friend. You taught me to let go, to trust in the crew that I'm surrounded with, and that whether you know or not, science is a tool rather than a weapon, and that mathematics is how the universe talks to us. It is the only language across all people that we can use to communicate with the cosmos. You reminded me of the delight and childlike wonder that came with science and discovery. Thank you. I know you've never been much for gifts or on paper things, but give me a break, okay? I've bequeathed with you the first star chart I've ever made from my home on Andoria. It's an Andori, but the stars are just beautiful. My spherical astrolabe, because not all of us have fancy ships with astrometric labs. And lastly, all of the notes that I've made on Iconian gateway technology that I've managed to gather over the mounting months of this goddamn war. If you write a paper and you don't co-author me, please just make me a footnote. I've had to invent a whole new sensor dynamic for this damn thing. Also, I managed to work out a whole concept on probability in Tongo. It's shaky, all things considered, but I thought maybe you could give it a test run and get a total monopoly on me. I've made so many of these things today, and I've signed them off with various messages of hope for the future. And I do have that, but I also have a peace of mind knowing that I dragged an Iconian piece of trash with me at the very least. I'm a proud daughter of Vandoria through and through. I love what I do, and I die doing it, and I can't ask for much more. Just know that I am proud for having known you both, and that my energy has been dispersed through the galaxy, and that every time you look out, I'm out there, changed, but still with you. This is Captain Lasan Thazareth of the USS Amazon, signing off.
And at that moment, the hologram disappears, and you're returned back to the holodeck.
Ted reaches up for his face, and he's surprised to see he's already crying. They're too damn good for this universe. Oh, I'm gonna miss you so much. She's right, I'm gonna go break something.
All right. And then, did you want to do that last scene you were talking?
Yeah.
I'm not sure which scene this is.
The one with you know who and Drake's bar, Quark's bar. Fuck.
Now you don't know.
All right. Well, we know who it's with.
Unfortunately, that scene will have to wait till next week.
Ah, damn it. All right, fine.
Just takes rage out on, everything.
It might not go how you expect.
Who knows how it will go, but we'll find out next time.